Hey, Pastor Josh here. We are reading Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 4, and we have now come to the Tower of Babel. Remember, all of the descendants from Noah, they are still together. We've gone down a couple different generations. Remember, Nimrod is going to be the ruler of this group, and he is going to lead them in the construction of this structure. Nimrod is not mentioned in our text about the Tower of Babel, but we do see clues about it in the genealogies that we have read the past 2 days. Now, the whole earth had one language in the same words. That is a great blessing, folks. That's a good thing. Everybody was able to speak the same language. They were able to understand each other very well. And this great blessing, this great ability that they had, they did not use for good. They used a good gift for wrong, for selfish purposes. And that is an attitude we need to change. We need to make sure that we use our gifts. We need to make sure that we use our talents. We need to make sure that we use our resources. We need to make sure that we use the time that we have ultimately to bless other people, to be obedient to God, and not for our own selfish purposes. It's the attitude. An attitude we need to change. The things that we have are to be used for the glory of God and the human flourishing, or the flourishing of humanity and the people all around us. The folks of the Tower of Babel, the folks descending from Noah, are not doing that. And I think that's important for us to remember too, is that these folks are the descendants of Noah and not very far down, great grandchildren. We're not getting far down from Noah. And to think that the folks that build the Tower of Babel are acting just like everybody else that was outside the ark just goes to prove the fact that God has to go to extreme measures to save humanity. There's no sort of destruction and judgment that is going to clear up the problems of the human heart. Already, humanity has gone astray. They had this great blessing of one language and the same words, and they use it for selfish purposes. And as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. Yay, we're tired of moving around. Finally, there's this nice open land, and we're going to stay here. And they said to one another, remember, the command was to be fruitful and to multiply and to fill the earth. They were not all to stay together. They were supposed to divide and conquer. They were supposed to divide up and take over various areas of the world. They could still be united in a network, but they were not to be living as one big conglomerate, one big city. But there they are, settling in the land of Shinar. We know from those genealogies that Nimrod is going to be the leader of this group. And they said to one another, come, let us make bricks. A good example to follow. Or it's a good example to follow. Again, having technological advancements are a good thing, and burn them thoroughly. Let's take the bricks and let's make sure they're nice and hard. That's a good thing to do. But what they are going to do is, again, use these technological advancements, use these blessings for themselves. So they're saying, hey, let's take these bricks. That's a good thing in and of itself, to make bricks, to have tools, to do things with them. But what are you going to do with those tools? How are you going to use them? They're going to take these bricks and they're going to use it to build a tower against the command of the Lord. Now, what are you going to do with your technology that you have? What are you going to do with your phone? What are you going to do with your car? What are you going to do with your TV? What are you going to do with your kitchen? What are you going to do with all these various technologies that the Lord has given you? You can use them for good, or you can use them for bad. They can be a blessing to humanity, or you can use them for your own selfish purposes. What are you going to do? This is a bad example for us to follow. They made bricks and used them to build the Tower of Babel. But the example of making bricks is a good thing. They could have built bricks and they could have used these bricks to build cities all over the world like they were originally commanded to do. But Nimrod led the people to go against the Lord's command. And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Bitumen would be another word for asphalt. Now, what's interesting about these two things is that Moses, I guess, reflecting on this, is saying, hey, these guys had brick instead of stone. Stone's going to be better than brick. And they're using asphalt instead of using cement, instead of using mortar. And so they're using inferior products, inferior things to the things that we have. And they think they're going to build this big old tower that will keep a name for themselves. But look at what they're using. They're using brick instead of stone. They're using asphalt instead of cement. This is a good point there. This is looking at and pointing to the folliness and the foolishness of the people that are building the Tower of Babel. And then they said, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth. Again, this is selfish pride. They are wanting to make a name for themselves instead of using all of these technological blessings, using the blessing of one language, an ability to communicate to bless the entire world. They're going to use it for their own selfish purposes. Now, I want to make one more note before I end, is that this city of Babylon, this city of Babel, also appears at the end of our Bibles in the book of Revelation. And this city will also be destroyed as well. It's Revelation chapter 18. After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable beast. And it goes on for the rest of that chapter, describing the destruction and the fall of Babylon. So we see Babel is here at the very beginning, representing a city of the worldly system of pride, of arrogance, of human ability. And here we see it's going to be built, it's going to be scattered and destroyed by God. Ultimately, this is going to be a failed project. We're going to see that same thing at the end of our Bibles and at the end of times. God is going to fail the great city Babylon. Everything that humanity puts its stock in, everything that we think is good and wonderful and perfect, will be found to not be good and perfect. It is only the things of God, it is only the city of God that will last forever, not the things that we end up putting together by our own means and purposes, and ultimately for our own glory. Only the things done for the glory and benefit of others will truly last for eternity. I pray that has been a blessing to you all. We'll finish up the Tower of Babel story in our next video.